Okay, so here goes. This is my second video blog for the program. Helen again has given us a few questions to answer. The first one being, what's the second biggest change that you've experienced since starting on the program with Helen? Okay, well, it's still, I guess the biggest change is still the eating at the table. I think probably the second biggest is a consciousness of what I'm eating. I think before there was a lot of eating for the sake of eating. I'm really working hard not to do that now. I won't say that I'm perfect and that I don't snack and there's not still a little bit of the boredom eating, but I think there's definitely an awareness that that's happening, and I think that's really different for me. And I think until I if I'm not aware of what I'm doing, then I can't change it. So that awareness of what I'm doing and that awareness of the consciousness of what I'm putting into my mouth is a really big difference. I think the other thing is the whole concept of not being on a diet. That's something that I've really struggled with. It's a concept that Helen is really trying to reinforce with us, that this is not a diet. This is it's not even a healthy eating plan, because there's no good food, there's no bad food, there's no healthy food, there's no unhealthy food, there is just food. And that's a really difficult concept to come to terms with. After 25 years of yo-yo dieting and of depriving myself of foods and then falling off the wagon, to come to terms with the fact that I'm not on a diet and to change that way of thinking has been really difficult. I'm still not quite there. In my mind, not being on a diet, I have days where that kind of almost gives me permission to overeat. And so, again, it's that awareness of what I'm eating and when I'm eating and how I'm eating all comes into play. So I think those things, are really working together. It's not one concept. It's not one big change. It's a whole series of little things, and accepting these changes into my life. So I guess that's probably the second biggest change to me. My goodness. So again, what about this weight loss program? Do you find that it really works for you and has helped you with the weight loss? Again, I think it's that whole concept of of not being on a diet, of food not being the enemy, and being aware of what I'm eating. I think that's one of the biggest changes, and it's the biggest thing for me that's helping me to lose my weight. There's a definite consciousness now about needing to fill. I was really excited about the fact that when I went for my appointment with my doctor last week, that I was able to, in fact I didn't have an appointment last week, I actually made the appointment because of information that Helen had given me. So it was an awareness that I actually needed to fill, and to be able to go into my doctor and say to her, yes, I'm doing really well, yes, I've lost weight, but my band is not tight enough and I need some fill, was really empowering and a big difference for me, because in the past I've gone in and it's kind of, yes, I think I need some, or I don't know, and I let her make the decision. This time I actually didn't have an appointment. Helen had said some things to me and to others that had kind of got me thinking. So I rang and I made an appointment. I went in and I said, yes, I'm losing weight, but I need a fill. She agreed. Because I was able to say to her, the reason I need a fill is because I'm still able to eat my dinner quite quickly, and I'm legitimately hungry an hour to 2 hours later. I'm looking for food. Fantastic. She put some more fill in. I have another appointment in another week, and again I'm going to go in and say to her, I'm still not tight enough. I still need a little bit more to get me to that optimum level. So that's quite empowering, and that's been a big change for me, and a really positive change for me. I kind of thought that the band would do it on its own. It would get to, my doctor would know when it was at its right point, and that, the band and the doctor would figure that out. Now I know that I'm actually in control of that, and I can have some input into that, and that's a fantastic thing. I'm definitely finding that my clothes are looser. As I was saying to Helen in my email that I'm about to send her, I'm kind of still at that in-between stage, that annoying stage where your old clothes are a little bit loose, or a little bit too loose, that they kind of look really baggy and they look messy, but the next size down is still just that smidge tight. So, I haven't quite dropped a size. I'm not far off. And definitely in the top, I've lost more in the top, I think, than, well, actually, no, I won't say that. I think I've lost it all over, but I find it easier to move a top size than I do a bottom size. I've always been bottom heavy, so, and that's not changing. And, that's my shape. It's probably, I'll lose the weight, but I will probably always be bottom heavy. That's the overall body shape. But who knew? I have cheekbones. They're coming. I can see that, my face is changing shape. I've got these little collarbone things here happening. They're not coming, they're not all the way out yet, but they're coming. And, that's exciting. It's the little things that cause that excitement. So I'm still really enjoying the program. I've had a really tough weekend. Well, actually not a tough weekend. That's not entirely true. Maybe a lazy weekend is a better way of putting it. I haven't been very strict this weekend. I've been a bit lazy about what I'm doing, and but the good thing about not being on a diet and not restricting yourself is that tomorrow I know that it all starts again, and that I need to be really firm with myself and get back on the wagon. And because I'm not on a diet and there's not that overall restriction, it's easier to do that. So, as I say, really enjoying it, really positive, hanging out for another web seminar with Helen. They kind of keep me going, and really looking forward to seeing Helen again next week in person. So, I guess that's about it for this time. See you next time.